Hello there guys, welcome to one of my videos. On this video tonight I am going to be giving you my match reaction for the Manchester United West Ham game. So it's just ended, Manchester United won, West Ham won at Old Trafford. We do drop 2 points, but we do go into the top 4. If we do draw with Leicester in our final game, we will get qualification for the Champions League, so we only need a point. We are now winless in our last 2 games. You know, West Ham were looking to do the double over us for the first time in the Premier League since 2007. Now, the goals came from Mikel Antonio from the penalty spot. You know, West Ham did take the lead just before half time. Obviously, you know, Paul Pogba had handballed it in the box, you know, for that penalty to be given. He handballed it from Declan Rice's free kick. And obviously, you know, Paul Pogba would have got a lot of criticism for that. But VAR had to intervene because obviously, you know, at the first, they thought the ball had hit Paul Pogba in the face. But yeah, so he took the penalty really, really well, did Mikel Antonio, and that was 1-0 to West Ham. And our goal came from Mason Greenwood on his 50th appearance for the football club. And Anthony Martial had got the assist. They combined very, very well together, you know, for that goal. Mason Greenwood has now got 17 goals for Manchester United this season in all competitions. But I thought, again, very, very poor performance by Manchester United. In some parts of the game, you know, we did okay. David De Gea made a couple of good saves in the game to deny Jarrod Bowen. I think he also saved an Antonio shot, but, you know, failed to keep out the penalty. And Solskjaer did admit prior to the game that, you know, he was considering dropping David De Gea because there was reports coming out saying that, you know, Solskjaer could play Sergio Romero for the 2 remaining games. I think David De Gea's future has been confirmed, and I don't see Man United selling David De Gea in the summer transfer window. Tonight was David De Gea's 403rd appearance for the football club in all competitions. But David De Gea did receive a lot of criticism from our 3-1 defeat to Chelsea. Because obviously, you know, he made 2 calamitous mistakes, you know, because he should have saved Giroud's shot and he also should have saved Mason Mount's shot. But I think, you know, David De Gea's had 7 good years out of the 9 years he's been at Manchester United, and he is approaching his 10th year at the football club. Solskjaer was talking a lot about David De Gea the other week, you know, saying that he's been the best goalkeeper in the world for the last 9 or 10 years or so. But possibly Dean Henderson could become our number 1 for next season. So David De Gea, you know, weren't too bad. Fosu Mensah, he came in at right back for Wan-Bissaka. I think the main explanation why Fosu Mensah started ahead of Wan-Bissaka is because Wan-Bissaka had sustained a knock, I think just before kickoff, was it? Just before kickoff. That was Fosu Mensah's 2nd appearance for the football club in, like, was it 16 months? Obviously, you know, in the game against Crystal Palace, that was Fosu Mensah's 1st appearance for Man United in just over 3 years or something like that. But he came in for Wan-Bissaka at right back, and I don't think Fosu Mensah, you know, made an impact at all. I thought he really, really struggled at right back. Victor Lindelof and Harry Maguire, I thought they took far too many touches in the game, especially in the first half. I thought Harry Maguire nullified Antonio really, really well, but I thought Harry Maguire was quite wasteful in possession. I also thought Victor Lindelof was quite wasteful in possession, but got forward well quite a few times. Brandon Williams, I thought he had a much better game than he did in the 3-1 defeat to Chelsea. You know, he showed some good attacking intended. Brandon Williams made a couple of decent passes, and he was involved quite a few times with Brandon Williams. I'm actually not surprised that Luke Shaw wasn't available, because I thought Luke Shaw may have been available, but he is still out with that ankle injury. Paul Pogba, again, I don't think he made a fantastic impact. Like I said, you know, he was the one that gave the penalty away, Paul Pogba. And I thought he really, really struggled a lot. At times he looked quick on the ball, did Pogba, but, weren't at his best. Nemanja Matic, again, he took far too many touches. I think when he had the ball, he took like 8 or 9 touches, did Nemanja Matic, so he didn't have the best of games. Bruno Fernandes, again, weren't at his best. Lacked that composure, and that's unusual of Bruno Fernandes. I think in the last 3 or 4 games, Bruno Fernandes has looked off the pace. He really, really has. But I still think Bruno Fernandes has enjoyed a fantastic start to his Manchester United career. He's still got 9 goals for the football club since his arrival from Sporting Lisbon in January, Bruno Fernandes. And don't forget, he became the first player to win back-to-back Player of the Months since Cristiano Ronaldo, because he won Player of the Month for June and he also won it for February. So weren't too good either. Marcus Rashford, I thought he had a bright start in the game, made some good runs, showed some attacking intent, but I think as the game went on, Rashford wasn't in the game so much. But he wasn't in the game against Chelsea on Sunday, was he? Because he obviously didn't get enough service. Mason Greenwood, I thought he did okay. Mason Greenwood, he was better than he has been in the last few games and that, because don't forget, recently Mason Greenwood has had an ankle injury. Anthony Martial, I don't think he was too bad either. We did have some good chances in the game, and West Ham's goalkeeper Fabianski had to make some good saves. I think Rashford had a great chance, and also too did Anthony Martial. I've just read some of the stats, and I think we had around 11 shots in the game, created around 10 chances. Created around 10 chances in the game. I think we only brought 2 substitutions on, and that was Wan-Bissaka and Odion Ighalo. Like I said, Odion Ighalo's appearances now will be coming from that substitutes bench, because like I said, now his starts will be limited. Obviously, Ighalo's going to be with us until the end of January 2021, because obviously, before the resumption of the season, we had extended Odion Ighalo's loan. But there's no option for us to buy Ighalo, or there's no obligation to buy him and that. But I thought, when Rashford was out with that back injury, I thought Ighalo had made a fantastic impact. I think he was our top goal scorer in the FA Cup. But yeah, I expected us to beat West Ham. Because I wanted to see a response from our 3-1 loss to Chelsea. But we've struggled against West Ham in recent years. We really, really have. We've drawn with them tonight, 1-1. We lost there earlier on in the season at the London Stadium by 2-0. We lost at the London Stadium last season by 3-1. From a West Ham perspective, they'll be very, very delighted, because they are now safe. They only needed a point, to obviously avoid relegation. So West Ham are going to be in the Premier League next season. Prior to the game, Solskjaer was talking. He was asked about David Moyes, and he was talking about him. And he said, that David Moyes has done a fantastic job at West Ham. West Ham have had a lot of good results recently. Obviously they've drew with us tonight. They beaten Watford. Beaten Chelsea, they beaten Norwich. So they've had some very, very good results recently. Like I said, David Moyes was reuniting with Manchester United, because don't forget, David Moyes is a former Manchester United manager. David Moyes enjoyed around, 8 or 9 months at the football club. I knew we should have never recommended him in, but obviously we did, because it was Alex Ferguson that recommended him in. But Ferguson did make a big mistake by recommending David Moyes into the football club. But Moyes is in his second spell now with West Ham. He's in his second spell with them, because I think he got sacked from them before, didn't he? He obviously had a spell at Sociedad and Sunderland. He got sacked from them. I think the only team Moyes really did well at was Everton, because Moyes did enjoy around 11 years with Everton and that. But, West Ham will be very, very delighted with the point. I thought some of their players performed quite well tonight of what I saw. Mikel Antonio looks dangerous, when he got the ball. I don't think Mark Noble did too bad for West Ham either. That Fornals had a pretty decent game for them. Jarrod Bowen, like I said, he had that great chance. Declan Rice, broke up the play very, very well in their midfield. And like I've said to you before, I highly rate Declan Rice. West Ham only had 2 injuries, and that was Ryan Fredericks and Robert Snodgrass. They're the only 2 injuries that West Ham had. But the positive is that, like I said, we are now in the top 4. We've got 1 game remaining. We still remain unbeaten in our last 13 Premier League games. We still haven't lost in the Premier League since January, and that defeat was to Burnley by 2-0. So yeah, the game against Leicester on the final day is going to be a very, very interesting game. We've just got to avoid defeat, because if Leicester do beat us, then we will miss out on that top 4. And obviously, Solskjaer was recently asked about the importance of Champions League qualification, for the players, attracting players, and the financial structure. I think, we can finish in that top 4. Because I think, is it like 3 times out of the last 6 years we've failed to get qualification for the Champions League. Like I said, we've got to also focus on the Europa League as well, because the Europa League games are coming in August, which is next month. The Europa League is the only chance for us getting some silverware on the board this season under Solskjaer. And if we can win the Europa League, that will be our first trophy under Solskjaer. And obviously if we win the Europa League anyway, we'll get automatic qualification for the Champions League. Like I've updated you on my videos today, I did mention, didn't I, the 2 biggest tests that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's facing at Man United, and one of the biggest tests he's facing is the summer transfer window, because it's going to be interesting to see who he recommends in, and also too, next season's one of the biggest tests for Solskjaer, because like I said, next season Solskjaer's going to have bigger expectations to exceed. He's going to have bigger expectations to exceed, because I said next season our expectations will be to challenge for the Premier League title. And Solskjaer recently said that we've got to spend money to compete with the likes of Manchester City and Liverpool. I think our transfer budget's unknown for the summer transfer window. We know the summer transfer window opens on the 27th of July. It opens on the 27th of July. But the summer transfer window will be Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's 4th transfer window as Manchester United manager. And I think he also said before, Solskjaer, that our pre-season plans and our transfer strategy are also up in the air because of the uncertainty of how the current season will finish. We know next season, the season will be starting in September, obviously, due to the coronavirus pandemic. But Solskjaer has confirmed his plans for the summer transfer window by signing players and using academy products, because we have got a lot of good young players coming through. Let's be honest. We have got a lot of good players coming through, but there's still a lot of aspects of our game that really need to improve. I think we've got to be more clinical. We've got to be more clinical in front of goal. I think we defensively need to improve. I think the combinations in the team have improved. That's one thing I'll say. I think we need to be more creative. We need to keep the ball better. We need to be quicker on the flanks. So this is something that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer does need to work on. To be quite honest, we're in the game tonight. You can't really criticise Solskjaer's team selection. I did criticise his team selection in the 3-1 defeat to Chelsea in the FA Cup semi-final, because obviously, he did get it wrong in that game, did Ole Gunnar Solskjaer against Chelsea. He'd made 5 changes from the 2-0 win against Palace. Like I said, the mistakes he made against Chelsea, were not starting Romero. He made a mistake by benching Pogba and McTominay. He made a mistake by, not starting Martial, and he made a mistake by not starting Mason Greenwood. But obviously, in the game tonight, Pogba started, Greenwood started, Martial started. Surprisingly, McTominay didn't start. I'm surprised, McTominay didn't play any part in the game. I actually thought McTominay would have started this game against West Ham. But maybe you can say the only thing Solskjaer got wrong was not starting Wan-Bissaka, because I was surprised that Wan-Bissaka didn't start at right back, because he is our first choice right back. I think if Luke Shaw would have been available, he'd have been starting at left back ahead of Brandon Williams. We know that Eric Bailly is unavailable. Solskjaer did confirm prior to the game that that Eric Bailly's not going to be playing. He's remained in London to have them checks, but he did, recently get discharged from the hospital, did Eric Bailly. I prefer Bailly ahead of Lindelof, but my only element of concern about Eric Bailly is that he is injury prone. But in the game against Leicester on the final day, if we lose, we won't get qualification for the Champions League, obviously, but that won't affect Solskjaer, because either way, like I've said before, Solskjaer will still be Manchester United manager next season. Like I said, he does deserve at least another season. At the football club, does Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because it is a transition period, and it has been a transition period for a while. And, he's still in the process of rebuilding this Manchester United team. Solskjaer has now been at Manchester United over a year and a half. And I think he's been permanent Manchester United manager for around 15 or 16 months. But we've got to give him another season at the football club. And if things don't work out next season, that's when I would get rid of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Don't forget, earlier on in the season, Solskjaer was under serious pressure, because earlier on in the season we'd enjoyed our worst start to a Premier League season for 30 years. And at that point there was talks of Pochettino coming in and Massimiliano Allegri coming in. But we had a lot of bad results earlier on in the season. We had that 2-0 away loss at West Ham. We had that 1-1 draw with Southampton. We had that 2-1 home loss to Palace. We also had that 1-0 defeat to Newcastle. We had that 2-0 home defeat to Burnley in that. But I already given you the main explanations why Solskjaer did not get sacked as Manchester United manager and that. So we've got to give him time, and I'm hopeful that we can win a title under him. And if we can do this, it will be our 21st title, because as it stands at the moment, we've won 20 titles and 13 of them are Premier Leagues. So as it stands at the moment, we are the most successful team in Premier League history. We are the most successful team. But, like I said, there's still things that need to be worked on. Probably Solskjaer's decision-making's got to also improve a little bit. I think Solskjaer's got an idea of what his best 11 is, and, he's more or less now sticking with the same formation, because, as you all know, this season Solskjaer's gone a lot with that 4-2-3-1 formation. We usually go that. A few times he's gone with different formations. Obviously, in the game against Chelsea, he started with 3 at the back, but when Bailly came off injured, he reverted back to the 4-2-3-1 formation. And like I said, it was a shame that went out of the FA Cup, because I wanted us to, win the FA Cup. Because, like I said, we've won the FA Cup 12 times, and we haven't won the FA Cup since the Louis van Gaal, which was back in 2016. But we still enjoyed, a very, very good cup run and that. But silverware is very, very important, because that's what football's all about. Is getting silverware on the board. We've only won 3 trophies since Ferguson left, like I've mentioned. But, we've won 45 trophies in our history. But we've won 45 trophies in our history. But obviously, 38 of them trophies came under Ferguson, including 13 Premier League titles and that. And like I said, Ferguson endured 26 years at Man United, endured 22 years of success, because Ferguson didn't win out in his first 4 years at the football club, did he? Let's be honest. So it took him, time to settle in. And like I said, no one will replicate Ferguson's legacy at Man United, or no one will, last as long as Ferguson did. But I still think we can get back being competitive under Solskjaer. I'm hopeful, that we can. But, you can see the areas in the squad where Manchester United are lacking. I think we probably need a striker. I think we need a right winger. We also need a box-to-box midfielder. And I think, we're still looking to recommend a centre-half in. Even though we have got 7 centre-halves in the team. We've got a hell of a lot of centre-halves in the team. But I think Solskjaer's, had a few negotiations with Ed Woodward, about, the positions he wants to strengthen up. Like I said earlier on today, Solskjaer wants to make around 2 or 3 signings in the summer transfer window and that. There's been a hell of a lot of players on our agenda. The news regarding Jadon Sancho from Borussia Dortmund. Christian Farks recently spoken about the Jadon Sancho transfer saga, and he said that Man United have not yet put a bid in for Jadon Sancho. Simon Stone, who's a journalist and is obviously from the BBC, he said that Man United are confident that they can get a deal over the line for Sancho. No figures yet come to an agreement. There's been recent reports saying that we're willing to put an £80 million bid in. Whether this is going to be enough to convince Dortmund to offload him or not, I do not know. But Dortmund have recently said that they want £100 million at least, and they've remained ruthless over their valuation for a long time. Reports from the German press recently said that Sancho does want to leave Borussia Dortmund, but I think negotiations have been at an advanced stage, because we've been recently, having negotiations with Sancho. But Sancho is our number one priority target. We're still looking to get Jack Grealish on the board. He's another one of our priority targets. I think Grealish doesn't know where his future lies. He's focusing on trying to keep Aston Villa in the Premier League. If Villa do get relegated, then I think, Grealish could stay at Aston Villa. No, sorry, will leave Aston Villa if they get relegated. But if they stay up, then possibly Grealish, could stay with Aston Villa for another season. If they were to get relegated, Grealish should probably be available for around maybe 40 or 50 million pounds. But, there has actually, been a lot of young players on our agenda as well. Like I said, we've already missed out on 2 young players, and that was Jude Bellingham and Erling Haaland. We've missed out on them 2 young players. But Solskjaer's got big decisions to make at Manchester United. He really, really has got big decisions to make. He's got a goalkeeping decision to make. He's got to decide on what players he's going to get rid of in the summer transfer window. I think we're going to get rid of at least 6 players in the summer transfer window, because there is a lot of deadwood at Manchester United. But obviously, to be fair, Solskjaer has got rid of a lot of the deadwood since he got recommended in to the football club. I heard last week actually that we'd put 6 players up for sale. He said we'd put Jesse Lingard up for sale, Sanchez. It'd be very beneficial if we could get rid of Sanchez on a permanent transfer. We put Smalling, Rojo and Jones for sale, and so too Diego Dalot. Because these players at Manchester United that are finding game time difficult, Dalot's appearances have been limited, Tahith Chon's appearances have been limited, James Garner's appearances have been limited, and all of that. But I think more or less everybody's been given their chances to express themselves at Manchester United. And like I said, this season Solskjaer has promoted the youth very, very well. He really, really has. And that, like I said, Solskjaer's got to make a decision on some contract renewals, because we've got around 8 players' contracts that are due to expire next year. And Solskjaer has got to make a decision on these 8 players. But to be fair, we've extended a lot of players' contracts since Solskjaer got recommended in to the football club and all of that. But like I said, give Solskjaer another season. He is our 4th permanent manager since the Ferguson era. Like I said, we've sacked Moyes, Louis van Gaal and Jose Mourinho since the Ferguson era. So we haven't really got the structure to keep sacking managers. As people say, we should have beaten West Ham today, because West Ham obviously are a great team. But obviously, there's teams that are fighting to stay up. And a draw is not the end of the world. It is better than losing. But we have got to get a result against Leicester on the final day of the season. And we've also got to perform better. Leicester's not going to be an easy game. It really, really isn't. Leicester have been in a bad vein of form recently, and that, they recently lost to Tottenham 3-0. But I think analysing it this season, Leicester have done very, very well. Brendan Rodgers has done a very, very good job with them. Has he been at Leicester now over a year, Brendan Rodgers? Earlier on in the season, I think Brendan Rodgers had extended his contract with Leicester until, 2025. So I think he signed a 5-year deal with Leicester, did Brendan Rodgers. And they've done well to say that they've lost quite a few of their players in recent years. Leicester, they lost Harry Maguire to us last summer. They lost Raheem Mahrez to Man City in the summer of 2018. They also lost Danny Drinkwater and N'Golo Kante to Chelsea as well, don't forget. But they've recruited some good players in of Leicester in recent years. Obviously, in recent years they brought players like Dennis Pryor in, who I think's done well for them. James Justin, Youri Tielemans, I think he's Leicester's record signing. Youri Tielemans, Perez, they also bought Perez in as well. I do really like Jamie Vardy, risen up the ranks for non-league football, and look where Jamie Vardy is now. They've got James Maddison. I think they also got Wilfred Ndidi back in 2017, didn't they? Did Leicester. He's very good, Ndidi, can break up the play well. They've got Ben Chilwell at left back, who I highly rate. So Leicester, is not going to be an easy game. It really isn't. So we need to be up for the task. I think in the game against Leicester, probably Solskjaer's going to make changes from the 1-1 draw tonight with West Ham. With West Ham and all of that. But hopefully, Luke Shaw's going to be back for Leicester. Is Bailly going to be back for Leicester? I'm not sure. But, we shall see anyway. But analysing our squad, it is currently a good squad. But it's a top 4 squad, as it stands at the moment, it's not good enough to win the league. Or it's not good enough, to challenge for the league. But like I said, there's been problems at the football club for several years. There's been problems with the club's board. There's also been problems with Ed Woodward, there's also been problem with the Glazers and that. So there's been a hell of a lot of problems at Manchester United. But there you go, and that's really it. And on my next video, I'm going to be giving you my player ratings for the game. So anyway, guys, that's everything to update today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very soon.